People have wondered for thousands of years about how the pyramids of Giza could have been constructed by the ancient Egyptians around 4,500 years ago. For one thing, how did they move the heavy stones, many weighing 5 tons or more, to the construction site? The ancients left very few clues. The best clues we have are from a wall painting found in the tomb of a provincial governor who lived in Egypt about 3,900 years ago. A very large crew of men is pulling a giant statue on a wooden sledge. At the front of the sledge stands a man who appears to be pouring something on the ground. The most accepted explanation is that he is pouring water. A 2014 study by the University of Amsterdam concluded that the water was being poured to dampen the sand on which the statue was being pulled. Dampening would make the sand firmer, which would ease the burden on the pullers. Maybe so, but I'm going to say that what is being poured is not water, but sand, and the surface is not sand, but stone pavement. The first written account of a visit to the pyramids of Giza was made around 450 BC by the Greek historian Herodotus. He was impressed not only by the pyramids, but by the causeway, or paved road that led to them. The causeway in this picture can still be seen today. It leads to the Pyramid of Unas, which was built about 150 years later than the Giza pyramids and a few miles to the south. Note the paved surface. I made a little model sledge and filled a clay crock with rocks for weight, and then tried some pull tests on a concrete walkway at my house. A fishing scale measures how hard I pull. Here's my result when the sledge is pulled on bare concrete. It may be a little difficult to read the scale in the video, but I'm going to say that once the load got going, the required pull was about 15 pounds for a 35-pound sledge. Now let's try spreading some sand on the walkway. We'll try the pull test again. I'm going to say that the required pull was reduced to around 10 pounds. That would indicate a reduction in friction of about 1/3, which is a worthwhile reduction. My experiments do not necessarily show that the Egyptians pulled their stones on paved causeways rather than sand, but let's go back to the ancient picture. Near the lower left corner, we can see a representation of men carrying a thick wooden beam with notches cut into it. I made a little model of the beam and used it for some experiments with my sledge, first using the beam as a second-class lever. Next, as a first-class lever. I'm going to guess that there may have been problems with keeping the paving stones aligned in ancient times, just as there are similar problems with sidewalks today. A big lever would be helpful when the sledge gets stuck at a bump. The same lever would not be helpful on a sand surface because that surface would not be firm enough to be or to support a fulcrum. Therefore, I believe the ancient picture shows pulling the sledge on a hard surface, like a causeway. Here are my conclusions. 1. The ancient Egyptians moved their heavy stones on paved causeways, not sand. Number 2, they lubricated the causeways with sand, probably taken from very nearby. 3, they used big levers to ease their sledges over bumps. If you would like to critique or comment on my research, please do so below. If you are a kid in school and need a science project, feel free to do what I did or carry the research further. Please report your findings. Another problem with building the pyramids was lifting the stones to their final positions, sometimes hundreds of feet above the ground. Here's how I think it may have been done.
Okay.